East Peoria, winds light out of the north at 7 miles an hour. Here's a look at satellite and radar over the last 3 hours. Pretty quiet, a steady stream of clouds throughout the area. And notice there is a snow shower or two in some of our southwestern counties that should stay south of Interstate 74. I'm not expecting any of that to move northward, but a better chance of snow is definitely in the near future. Temperatures on the cool side, 17 in Lake Erie right now, 15 in Peru. I'll let you know how much snow we're going to get coming up, and Wmbd News at 4 starts right now.
Today on the show, Galesburg police identified the 2 people killed in yesterday's fire.
Has declared an emergency on the southern border. I'm Mark Meredith in Washington. I'll explain what that means coming up.
And hear what a candidate for Peoria City Council says about improving relationships between police officers and the communities they serve. But first, Peoria police confirms claims that Wmbd first reported involving the tragic slaying of a mother of 4. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Eugene Daniel. Last night, we spoke exclusively to a woman who escaped seconds before Kayla Fannin was murdered. And Delon Dillard joins us now after learning police are validating that they were told of threats beforehand. Delon.
Yeah, the department confirms Fannin called police over 6 hours before David Jenkins broke into her home and killed her. Now, Chief Marion tells Wmbd that Fannin made police aware that Jenkins went to prison for assaulting her. He says Fannin also showed the officer threatening text messages from Jenkins, and police even say Jenkins called the woman while officers were there, but they say he wasn't threatening at the time of that call.
Officer asked Ms. Fannin to email him every photo and screenshot of the text messages so he could add it to his report and forward it to Mr. Jenkins' parole officer for review. The officer also told Ms. Fannin to obtain an order of protection.
And they say that officer said that he immediately searched police database for information on Jenkins. What he found ahead in the next hour at 5. Eugene.
All right, Delon. If you or someone else that you know experiences domestic violence, it is important to know that there are resources in Central Illinois. The Center for Prevention of Abuse serves victims and helps protect them from violence. Its services are free and the crisis hotline is always available. That number is on your screen, 1-800-559-SAFE. Also, the YWCA in Bloomington is a resource for women. That number also on your screen, 309-662-0461. Happening right now, the Aurora Police Department confirms an active shooter situation has taken place this afternoon in a business area of the Illinois city. A suspect is in custody who is believed to have opened fire inside the Henry Pratt building. Now, multiple police officers and civilians are reported injured. Senator Dick Durbin says his heart breaks for Aurora and thanks law enforcement who are responding. Police are expected to give an update on this ongoing situation soon. And you can find more information on that on our website at ciproud.com. In Galesburg, we now know the names of a man and a child killed in a house fire. It happened on Clark Street just before 3 o'clock yesterday morning, and those flames had engulfed the home by the time the firefighters arrived. The Knox County coroner today says that 35-year-old Kevin Sickles Jr. and 3-year-old Charlotte Sickles died of smoke inhalation. Galesburg police are still investigating how the fire started. And over in the Twin Cities, there is a report of an armed robbery. A pizza delivery driver told officers that 3 men wearing dark clothing approached him as he was walking to his car around 1 o'clock in the morning. He says one of the men pulled a gun from his coat and then demanded cash. Thankfully, no one was injured, but those suspects got away with money. Well, President Trump has declared a state of emergency on the southern border. He says the declaration will allow him to spend billions of dollars to construct a border wall. But as our D.C. correspondent Mark Meredith reports, construction could be tied up in court for years to come.
President Trump says his decision to declare an emergency on the border comes down to national security.
We're talking about an invasion of our country with drugs, with human traffickers, with all types of criminals and gangs.
The president says he will use his emergency powers to spend $8 billion to build a border wall. That's $6 billion more than Congress approved in the spending bill. Much of the additional money will be redirected from other projects in the Defense Department.
And some of the generals think that this is more important.
Democrats say the president is exaggerating and there is no crisis at the border. They call the emergency declaration unconstitutional.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi released a joint statement with Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, writing in part, quote, "The president is not above the law. The Congress cannot let the president shred the Constitution." They say the Constitution gives Congress, not the White House, the authority to decide how to spend taxpayers' money. Democratic presidential hopeful Elizabeth Warren went even further, tweeting, quote, "Donald Trump isn't king. We'll fight this with everything we've got." The president himself admits his order is likely to be tied up in court, maybe for years.
We'll end up in the Supreme Court, and hopefully we'll get a fair shake.
Even Republican lawmakers had urged the president not to declare an emergency. The ACLU says it'll file a lawsuit against the order by next week. In Washington, I'm Mark Meredith.
We are just under 24 hours since the Illinois House voted to pass a bill that would raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour in the state of Illinois. And included in that bill is a graduated plan for the state to get to that wage. And companies, businesses, nonprofits, and every employer will have to wait until 2025 to get to $15 an hour. Minimum wage hasn't been changed since 2010 on the state level and since 2009 on the federal level, which is still at $7.25. Coming up tonight on WMBD News at 5, we've talked to Goodwill on how this adjustment will impact their job training and what this means for local businesses like Landmark. So are we in store for more snow showers this weekend? I know that's fun. Chief Meteorologist Zach Hatcher has your forecast when we come.